Putin sent another message to the West and NATO by attacking Ukraine with over 1,000 drones, one of the biggest drone attack on Ukraine ever since this war began. I hope the West will get this message clear. After Emmanuel Macron came out and said 26 countries are willing to send their soldiers to the front lines to fight with the Russians. Yesterday, Putin decided to attack training facilities in Ukraine. And today, over the night, whilst all of us were sleeping, he decided to target Ukraine capital, which is Kiev, with over 1,000 drones. Not just Kiev and its surroundings. Even Odessa was targeted. Odessa port was completely destroyed over the night. Well, let's get into the details. Guys, pardon me, I am not home. So, for the first time, the Russians are targeting administration buildings in Ukraine. So, the cabinet building was attacked in Ukraine. This is the first time that the Russians are doing anything like this. Now, the question is, are they trying to take out Ukrainian politicians? I don't get it. By the way, let's read this. Prime Minister Yulia confirms the attack on cabinet of ministers building. So this is a cabinet minister building that the Russians decided to attack. So this is what the Prime Minister said. For the first time, a government building has been damaged as a result of an enemy attack. The roof and upper floors have been damaged. Rescuers are putting out the fire. Thank them for their work, the head of government wrote. So this is what the Prime Minister said. This is the first time that an administration building has been attacked by the Russian armed forces. Quite interesting. By the way, this is a friendly advice to Ukrainian politicians. I think the Russians are coming for you. They are coming for you. Be careful. Now, let's analyze this attack beyond the headlines. Why is Putin intensifying his attacks on Ukraine? After Putin and Donald Trump meeting in Alaska, if you guys observe, Russia is currently attacking the Ukrainians hard. And what is the reason? The reason is simple. After Putin met with Donald Trump, the West continuously claimed that they are going to send soldiers to the front line. So Vladimir Putin realized that these guys are not ready for peace. So he wants to end the war in his own terms by defeating the Ukrainians and forcing them to the negotiation table. It's simple. So according to reports, what Vladimir Putin is trying to achieve here is to demilitarize Ukraine. Let us go back to day one of this war. You know, Putin's aim of going to Ukraine was not to capture territories, but denazification and demilitarization is the Russian military main goal. As for the denazification, we can say that they have achieved that. But when it comes to the demilitarization, that is what Putin is trying to achieve here. So according to multiple reports, Putin is trying to demilitarize Ukraine before he attacks the economy. Although Ukrainian economy is completely destroyed, but the West continue to pump in money. So Putin is trying to destroy the Ukrainian army completely to a point whereby they cannot fight back. Just like exactly what they did to Napoleon, exactly what they did to the Nazis in Second World War. Once they win the war, so what Putin is trying to achieve is once the Russians win this war, they will determine everything. It's simple. I've told you guys before that the Russian army main aim is not to capture territories. No. Although the Russians are advancing at a very fast pace over, I think, about 2 weeks now. So even on Telegram, most Ukrainian channels are confirming this attack. According to most of the outlets on Telegram, they are saying that this is the biggest drone attack ever since this war began. So even their own media houses are confirming this. So this is not just coming from the Russian side. One thing I am always careful is, you know, in times of war, truth is the first casualty of war. One thing I've realized is both the Russian side and Ukrainian side, all of them, they lie, right? So I'm very skeptical where I take my information from. These guys, all of them lie in terms of war like this. But one thing I've realized is the Russians don't just care about what the media says about them, whilst Ukraine is focused on what the media think about them, what the media will say. So they are always looking for some sort of victory, you know, a short form of victory to give it to the media to present them as heroes. But Once you do that, it is going to affect your military in a long run. And that is why we are seeing this currently in Ukraine. The Russians have been able to build the Shahed drones in a way that it is now able to dodge air defense systems. So once they shoot them, you see these Shahed drones, going zigzag. Unlike normal drones that go in a straight line. So shooting them down is not that difficult. But this Shahed has become something else. It has now become a big nightmare of the Ukrainian armed forces. Shooting it down is now almost impossible. That is why we see this amount of damage on the Ukrainian armed forces over the night. So those of you who follow this war critically, especially on the front lines, you realize that one of the main reasons why the Russian armed forces continue to capture more territories in the past 2 to 3 weeks now is because Ukrainian soldiers are currently deserting from the army, because they are grabbing people from the streets and they are sending them straight to the front lines, and these guys are not willing to fight. So some of them are leaving their positions and they are running away completely from the battlefield. So there are some places when the Russian army even get to, there's no need to fight, because those they put them there, the Ukrainians who are supposed to be there, they are running away completely. So Ukraine has set up some rules to deter people from running away completely from the battlefield. So these laws, if you are caught deserting or disobeying orders, well, there's a penalty. If you are able to run away completely, then good for you. But if you are not lucky and you are caught, hey, let's go into the details. In Ukraine, criminal penalties for desertion, disobedience, and failure to follow orders have been officially toughened. This is a desperate attempt to reverse trend of increasing desertion from the armed forces of Ukraine, where a significant portion of forcibly mobilized individuals flee before even touching the front. The new draconian measures are also aimed at reducing the number of cases of abandoning positions without orders and sabotaging orders from higher command. This has become a problem for them. So sometimes even order from high command, sometimes the soldiers disobey them. And some of the soldiers, when they go and train them, even before getting to the front lines, some of them will run away completely. They will not even get to the front lines, neither to talk about fighting. And some of them too, when they get to the front lines, they run, leaving their positions empty. So that is becoming a big problem for the Ukrainian army. Odessa was also targeted. Odessa was also massively attacked by Shahed at night. A multi-story building in Arcadia, the sports palace, and an infrastructure facility were damaged. Remember I told you guys about the Shahed drones. Recently, the Ukrainians came out and said the Shahed drones are becoming a problem for them because it is now impossible for them to jam them up. One thing that both the Russians and the Ukrainians are using more in this war is these drones. Now, most of Russian drones, the Ukrainians were able to intercept the network system and jam them. But now the Shahed drones are now impossible for them to intercept them. And this is becoming a big problem for the Ukrainian armed forces. That is why most of the Shahed drones were able to hit their target. Remember yesterday update, I told you guys that the Russians are currently targeting a lot of training facilities in Ukraine. Now, the Russians are not just targeting training facilities, they are also targeting training officials. And most of these officials are from the West, especially the UK. Check it out. This is a clear message to NATO troops, those who wish to go to Ukraine and fight. Or this is a clear message to those 26 countries who claim that they'll be going to Ukraine to go and fight. Well, this is the fate that awaits you. So the Russians are sending a simple and clear message to those 26 countries. Well, these 26 countries that Emmanuel Macron was talking about, the fact is, these people, I think maybe they are bluffing, or they are only trying to scare the Russians. I think so, because I don't see these guys go into the front lines. Most of them, they are citizens who protest against it. Most of these people, their citizens are not interested in this war. They voted for them to come and make their lives better, not to go and fight in Ukraine. You know, if you observe what is happening, a lot of people are not interested in this war again. Most of these Western countries, they are losing interest in the war. And now, most of them believe that Ukrainians cannot win this war. Most of the propaganda that the Western America portrayed, the media houses portrayed back in the beginning of this war, people realize that it is completely far from reality. By the way, thanks to channels like mine, there are a lot of channels on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, especially on TikTok, who continue to expose the lies that they peddled in the system. So, well, independent channels have made most of Western citizens to understand that whatever they are seeing on TV is completely false. And that is why most of them have no interest in this war again. Let me know how many of you watched the video to the end. Just type Timo in the comment section. Type Timo in the comment section so that I will know those of you who watched the video till the last end. Thank you very much for watching this video. I told you guys that regardless what, I want to bring you guys the update. For the sake of the 2,200 people who are on this platform, I'll continue to bring you guys this update. I am committed to this. And because of your love and support, I don't want to disappoint you guys. Clearly, you can see that I'm not home. But still, I have to bring you guys this update. Shalom. See you guys in the next episode. If you watch the video to the end, just type Timo or 360 in the comment section.